We live in a bubble here sometimes, and we don't necessarily think about what the experiences are for other people of color in other countries. We think that because they're in another country, that it's different. And this shows that it's not, that it's a universal problem, especially the microaggressions and the fact that, you know, at that particular school that you guys outline in within the confines of the show, how they use Black students for props or political propaganda to suit their own narratives and agendas. You know what I mean?
When I talk to a lot of Black people, it really sticks and resonates for them. But I wrote it for everyone to kind of see, to feel our experiences. I was just speaking about it earlier in terms of, you know, when it was very important that we showed them from the world that they were leaving and entering in this new space, and how my director was great at kind of showing the grandeur and the otherworldness of it, is that I really wanted to show like what it's really like to kind of come out of one space and step into another. And when you step into another space, the people who populate it and how they treat you and how they make you feel, I really wanted it to feel universal for everyone. So even if you've experienced it or you're just seeing the experience, I really wanted people to take that home with them. And I think doing it through the lens of young people away from their parents, it almost, even though it's a comedy and there's really like enlightening moments and fun moments, there is still something slightly unsettling, because they are young people being, like you say, used as props and used for people's agenda, and they're still having to like push through and persevere and get an education at the same time. So I wanted to show the weight of the world on their shoulders, and I wanted people to kind of take that away with them, to kind of see just how ugly these spaces can be.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the sexuality themes. I love the themes about the friendships being one-sided, because no matter what color you are, these are themes that are universal, right? The whole trying to fit in because you're not accepted for who you authentically are, trying to fit in because you're a nerd and you're just trying to find your way, or trying to fit in because, you know, your dad is the president of the school, but you don't want nobody to know that, and you just trying to, like, you know, be like everybody else and be gully like everybody else, but it don't kind of turn out that way. you know what I'm you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And
100%.
and the one thing that I super duper loved was the pressure from a family when you're the one that goes to school to bring it on home for everybody else.
Mm.
I didn't have that pressure in my family. My mother, I watched my mother graduate from college.
Oh
So
wow.
I knew that, and my mother graduated from college with two kids hanging on her hip. You know what I mean?
Oh
So to
wow.
watch my mother do that, and then to that made me know that no matter what happened in my life, that that was going to be possible, that I would be able to get an education. I'm just wondering for you, did you experience that pressure of the family going, you gotta bring it home, you gotta bring it home for everybody, you gotta get this education?
In a sense, there was a pressure for me to do well. And I think when I was choosing my universities, I chose a very predominantly white university because I
Mm.
knew that they did an excellent course. And I almost put the fact that I was going to be one of a few Black faces to the back of my mind. It's not until I got there where I was like, and it was the first time in my life where I was being in a space where there were hardly any Black people. It was the
Mm.
first time I was like, oh, actually, was like a was this the right decision? And you know, no regrets. I loved my time at university, even though it came with problems. But I think the reason why I chose it was because there was an expectation for me to do well. And that's the case for these characters. And you have someone like Femi, who is just kind of like, he will do anything and he will assimilate to do it, but he's not too different to Jaheim, because Jaheim will do anything to get to that end goal as well, but he just deals with it in a completely different way. Neither of them are right or wrong. I mean, Femi may be a bit wrong for some of the things that he does, same with Jaheim, but you know how they kind of enter that situation, you can't fault them because they're just trying to survive.
Femi is a mess. Let's just call it what Femi is, a hot mess. He is. Let's just call a spade a spade. And since you brought up the since you brought up the characters, which one of these characters don't you laugh because you know I'm telling the truth? Which one of these which one of these characters combined is closest to you? Because I know because as a writer that you have to write what you know. So some of
Yes.
this stuff is what you know that you've thrown into some other people that can play it out on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I was going to say a bit of me as Femi, but after that, I think I won't.
You take it back.
I mean, but I know what you mean. Like, if anything, I think I wish I could say that. I'd say every single one of them has a bit of me, but if I was to be closest to any of them, I think it would be Omar. Just like that geeky, kind of like hopeful, slightly innocent, not always realizing of um thinking the best of people. And I think I had a bit of that naivety in me as well. But when I got to my university, it was grand and beautiful, and I really wanted to be a part of that. I will say a bit of Femi, but hear me out. the,
Okay,
the
go
bit
ahead.
the bit about Femi is what I love writing about Femi, and why I'm not as harsh on Femi as
As I
99% of
am.
people are. Yeah. Don't worry, you're not alone. You're not alone. Is because that pressure to do well and him entering that space and trying to assimilate. And when he pulls himself away from the black characters, there's an understanding in me in which it's not even so much that he's pulling himself away from the characters that we know and love. It's just as in like they represent a world which he's trying to pull away from and do better, all in the hopes of do the pressures that he has to do well. And I think that I think in that sense, I never ever like pushed away sides of myself like that. But I was saying this earlier actually. I feel like I did assimilate to a certain degree. I remember coming back from university and people were like, "Why do you talk like that?" And I realized it's unconsciously I lost my accent. I was trying so hard to like fit in and to not stand out. So when I say Femi, I never stole, not to do any spoilers, but I didn't do a lot of the things that Femi did. But one thing that I do understand about Femi is how do you fit into this space? And I'm not saying it was good because it's probably why I see a therapist now. But it's like there was a certain level of me that assimilated to try my best to kind of fit into these spaces. And so I probably take that little chunk of Femi.
The show gives me vibes of like if the Dead Poet Society had a baby with School Days. That's what it's kind of giving me.
That's
You,
good.
you know what I mean? But last but not least, if you had to bring a super duper guest star in to shake things up a little bit from America, who might that person be?
Issa Rae, I,
Mm.
I'm obsessed with her. Her or and then I also love Donald Glover because I love Atlanta. I mean, because they're both like writer creators, so a lot of the stuff that they talk and write about, I'm always so intrigued.
I graduated from Howard. So
Right.
to be able to watch what this other experience was fascinating to me, and I
Mm.
appreciated it, and I thank you for that, and I also thank you for giving me your time to talk about it today. Much appreciated.
Well, no, thank you, and I'm so like I'm so touched that it's connected. I wrote it with the intention that it's for people everywhere, so it really touches me when I hear that and that it's connected with you in such a way. So thank you so much.
Oh dude, you are more than welcome.